Welcome to Owning Life, a podcast about embracing the beginning, the end, and the messy middle of this lifetime. I am your host, Karen Jokotifa Alaye, and I am in conversation today with my friend Mandy from Mandy in Balance. She has been super helpful in what she's been posting on her Instagram to help me, particularly when it comes to mobility. As a person in my 40s who spent a lot of time doing strength training and just like muscling through stuff, what I've been trying to find now that I'm older are ways for me to easily incorporate mobility, which I've never been great at. And she makes it really approachable for me. But she's not just a mobility coach or yoga practitioner. She's an overall wellness coach, and she has some really practical tips. And so that's why I like our conversation. I really want to bring you information that you can actually use. So I hope that with everything that she shared, one or two things is going to make a lot of sense, and you're going to be able to maybe incorporate it into your life. So let's get into the conversation. All right. I want to welcome my guest, Mandy Torres. Mandy's a health coach, probably mostly for women, moms from their 30s on up. And she helps women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, people in retirement, people who are wanting to find balance in their life. And that's how you can find Mandy. Her Instagram and TikTok for now is Mandy in Balance. Welcome, Mandy.
Thank you so much, Joka. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, pretty cool. We met, quote unquote, in the internet world, and I was really impressed with the way that you made things so simple for me. As a person in my 40s, like I realized I need to start taking charge. I need to take ownership of the fact that I am 40, that it's only going to get more difficult for me to retain my mobility. And for, personally, it's been the thing that I have struggled with the most. I'm really like a strength person. So I value like grit and determination and muscle. But you do that too much, that doesn't work. And so the idea of balance is really what I've been looking for, particularly in my 40s. And so when I found you and the things that you do are so relatable, but also feel easy, they feel like a good maybe starter. The way you present on Instagram gives us like little tips to maximize the 5 minutes that we have during the day. So I was really impressed with that. So I wanted to bring you on to talk a little bit more about balance, particularly in our 40s, overall health in our 40s, the ways that we can use what very little time we have to take care of ourselves.
Well, thank you for that. That's a very good welcome. I love hearing that.
So tell me a little bit, like, I know that, you're in your 40s as well, and, you've been doing health coaching for 15 years or so. Tell me what we need to know about how you got into this and what's important about this work to you.
Yeah, so I started my life as a dancer, and then I went into personal training after that. And then I started health coaching. I was always a very type A, go as well. Like I need lots of tests. I like to do lots of things. I liked HIIT workouts. I liked my bar workouts at the studio I taught at for a long time. So that was me as well. But I also very early on in my life got into yoga and learned the appreciation of the other part. And yoga has great yin and yang concepts that kind of cover both of those areas that we have in our life, because we have that go, but we also need that slow as well. So that yoga experience and training has taught me very well how to also slow down. But within that, I have had challenges in my life. And the biggest challenge has always been my self-confidence. For as long as I can remember, I've been uncomfortable with discomfort. So if something is presented to me and it's maybe something I haven't done before, instead of feeling confident and saying, I'll try, I would just shut it down. Basically subconsciously. Like I would not even go for it. Like for an example, I was teaching group fitness classes at this bar studio. And then, my husband brought up personal training. I just shoved it to the side. I didn't think I could do it for some reason, even though I'd been a dancer, I'd been teaching fitness. And so a lot of things in my life took way longer to do than they should have.
That's a painful reality that I agree with.
And, because it was so subconscious, it took me a very long time. And it really took me until my 40s, and I'm now 43, to realize what I was doing. And it came at the most ridiculous moment when my husband had started doing breath work and he was explaining how you do breath holds. And I go to him, well, I can't hold my breath. Like, just said it, didn't think about it. And then I saw his face and I thought to myself, yeah, well,
the face I'm just made of like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Maybe not for 10 minutes, but you can for 10 seconds, I'm sure, And it was that moment, like a light bulb went off and I go, oh, this is what I do. This is what I constantly do because I don't want to have a little discomfort in my life. And from there on, I started noticing when it would happen. And I said, oh, and I also have learned that confidence comes from a willingness to try. And I have gotten so much praise over the years, but it didn't matter. I still didn't have the confidence myself. And until I realized what I was doing and I broke that down, or at least I'm becoming aware of it. And I'm now starting to try things that I always said, well, I can't do that. That willingness to try is what helps build self-confidence. And so that is what I've learned through all this. And it's finding balance, right, in this process of trying different things and finding what makes me feel comfortable in my own skin. You might not be great at everything you try, but there has to be this will. And if it's something that you feel like you'd want to do, just try.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of like, I know there's people out there who feel like they can't do yoga. Like, I'm not flexible, so I can't do yoga, so I shouldn't do yoga, or whatever. I'm not flexible, so
sure.
What am I even stretching for? And it's the practice of going like, I can't reach the floor, but I can, bend at my waist. There's always something you can do, and you'll never be able to do it if you don't incrementally do that. And that's something we tell our kids. You don't have to be perfect. Like, something I tell my kids. Like, he'll want to be perfect at something and I can't do it. I'm like, well, yeah, because you just started. Like, it's okay to not be great at everything immediately.
Exactly. It's interesting as a personal trainer over the years, like the things that people don't want to do, like they say, oh, I don't like doing that. I always would say, that's probably what you need to do. Right? Because maybe they aren't flexible and they don't like doing this certain thing, or they don't feel strong and they don't want to do burpees because they're hard, and it's like, well, nobody does, but we can start not jumping. We can start, having steps to lead up to it, but most likely you need to do that. And it's so funny. I think about that now, and it's like, I would tell people that all the time. And it's the same thing with anything in life. Yeah, you just have to start trying it, and you might have to modify. You might have to go slower. But if you never try, if you never attempt to do it in some way, shape, or form, how do you expect to ever get better?
Well, let me ask this, because this is part of my problem too. Is 5 minutes, is like the little bits of time that we get during the day, is that enough to make a difference?
It really is. It sure is. Because, just think, what if you didn't take 5 minutes? Then you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. You don't have to do, a lot of moms, busy women don't have an actual 30 minutes of time. They literally don't. If you can break it up into 10, 10, 10 somewhere, you're still getting 30 minutes of activity.
Right.
It doesn't matter that it's broken up. And with saying, is 5 minutes enough? Well, is it going to make all the changes you want. Maybe not.
Okay.
But it's
fair.
gonna start a habit that I can do 5 minutes, and because it's only 5 minutes, right? You could do it every day. And you start creating a positive habit for yourself. And then maybe in a month or two, it's 10 minutes. You found I can get up 5 more minutes earlier and I can do 10 minutes, And so it's just building on these little steps so that you actually can fit it in and it can feel doable and not overwhelming, because that's what happens. People feel too overwhelmed. They don't have time. And we all can find 5 minutes to do something. And it doesn't have to be a workout. It can be something wellness for you mentally. You can do something for 5 minutes.
And I think, a lot of us can look, and even me, and I look at my life, and right, I'm a parent, and I have a job, and I am driven personally, and so I'm doing stuff like this on the weekends. Like, my self-care time maybe is taken up in, if not my work in my house, then this other work that I'm trying to do. But we do have that 5, and any of us who have any amount of time, you could look at our phones and see our screen time. And I would imagine most of us also have an hour of time that we are on the internet.
Yeah.
And we can take 5 minutes of that time while the internet's still going, by the way, have that on your computer or something, have on your little YouTube channel while you're doing 5 minutes of whatever next to it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So habit stacking. Habit stacking. That's a thing.
Stacking. Exactly. Do your workout while you're watching your TV show, your 5-minute workout while the TV show starts, and that habit stacking, pairing things with other activities you already do is a great way to get habits started. So, I fill up my water bottle every night to put it on my nightstand so that I know to drink it in the morning. That has been wonders. And then I have this little thing. If I don't finish it before my coffee, I'm not punished, but it's a goal for me to get it done before my coffee. I have to drink this 16 ounces of water before I have my coffee. And if I don't, okay, I didn't that day, but I still then finish it. And it's okay. But that has been a little tip that has helped me with hydration a ton.
I love that too, because a lot of what I see you sharing is information on how to move your body, but it sounds like you are passionate about every way that we can help improve our condition, improve our health. And man, water keeps coming up for me, and some days I'm great and some days I'm not so great. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna report back of where I have my water that then I try to finish before my coffee, because I really want to do that.
You don't need more than 10 or 16 ounces. If you can do that first thing in the morning, first of all, it's when we're most dehydrated, so your body usually craves it. And it can jumpstart your metabolism as well when you drink water first thing in the morning. So why not? Don't we all want that too?
Well, and while the coffee is brewing, you could drink the water. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what that's the thing. If you don't have your cup, make the coffee, you pour in the water in, pour yourself a glass of water. Also, drink it while you wait, and then coffee's the first thing. Well, what are some other things that we can do as 40-year-olds besides, stretching water to feel achievable, right? We realize the constraints that we have, the amount of things we're doing. What else? What are some other things we can do?
So there's a lot of things we can do. Start paying attention in our 40s that feel doable. You can do it at any age, but
sure.
Sleep, I have 4 key areas that in your 40s, if it's not good yet, if it's not stable yet, maybe try to see what you can do.
And this is a hint for people in your 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
You're already rolling.
Start doing it.
Yeah.
But why I say it's especially important, we're some of us maybe already hitting menopause. Some of us we're going to get there in the next 10 years or less. Yeah. And it's going to make it a lot harder for us to hit our goals once we're there. And
tips for hot flashes. Any
yeah.
of those too? For real?
It's just, and you might not get hot flashes, right?
Well, so, I am. And I didn't know what they were. And I was like, what is wrong with me?
Don't drink wine.
I was driving home from work and I was like, why am I so hot? And I like blasted the AC. That's right. It was really cold outside and I blasted the AC and I was like, I can't cool down. And I was like, do I have a fever? I don't feel sick. Like literally took me an hour to figure out what was happening to me. And I'll call my friend who's a little farther ahead of me. And I was like, oh God, what do I do? So anyway, I'm sorry. I distracted you. Okay. You can do your things, but let's talk about those things.
Yeah. So to help, us as we get older, start thinking about your sleep. If you don't have a sleep schedule yet, can you get one? Obviously, if you are a mom in your 40s and you still have younger kids, it might be harder. Maybe you can nap when they nap. That's one way you might possibly be able to fit in a little more sleep. But once you can and your kids are on a better sleep routine, trying to get yourself in a sleep schedule. There's a time you go to bed, a time you wake up. You try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, whatever your body needs. So important. Our bodies repair overnight. Mm-hmm. It helps your metabolism, helps with your weight loss. It helps us be cognitive, more aware in the day. So you're more productive at work. So if you don't have a conducive sleep environment, how can you make it cooler, darker, limit your caffeine late? How can you have a wind down routine that helps you settle your mind before bed, limit the TV and the phone at least 30 minutes before bed? Those types of things, those are the tips and ways you can help get a better night's rest as well.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm passionate about sleep. And if anyone needs tools, like I found that Rise app is really helpful for learning your sleep structure and like your sleep debt. I really love having the nighttime routine. Like you said, like I drink my cherry juice and my magnesium, which are sleep supportive, right? Yeah. So there are little things that you can do to make sleep more effective. Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So that's number one. Next is manage your stress. And it sounds so much easier to say, right? But I'll give you two easy tips. All right. Cool. The one is for the really, really busy person thinking you can't do anything. I heard this from a doctor who started it during her residency, who they never have any time for anything. And she would do this 3B leave technique where it's 3 seconds of your life where, you're being present and then you leave. And so she would do it every time before she would walk into a patient's room. She would stop with her hand on the door, take a deep breath. You could close your eyes if that feels good to you as you do it. Like a deepest inhale you can, take one deep exhale, and then she went on with her day, entered the room. That kind of thing you can do at any time when you start feeling maybe my heart rate's coming up, I'm getting flustered with something. Take a deep breath, recenter yourself, let that exhale out, and then continue, right? Try not to continue while you're feeling anxious and stressed because you're probably not going to do a good job in what you're doing. Something I've learned in my 40s as well is slow down to speed up. This is why I've been so clumsy over the years because I go instead of slow down, do it well. And then you're actually done faster than you going so fast. You drop the glass, you broke it. Now you got to clean it up. And if you would have just calmed yourself down, done the task you needed to do, probably would have went faster to begin with. So that is a mantra I live by because my husband always has to say, slow down in those moments to me. And I go, okay. and you can just take that one breath and it can really just get you focused and centered, being like, okay, where was I? Can I just slow down for this second and then move on with my life? So that's
Yeah.
one.
The pause is very underrated. Pause is
It
very
really
underrated.
is. And if you do it, the more often you do it, the more you're going to find you start doing it at moments you weren't even conscious, like trying to do it. So, and that's something this doctor had mentioned as well. The more she started doing it, with every door she entered, it's just started to become this subconscious thing. She would just make sure she took a breath from time to time, and so I love that. And if you have more time, and this is something my husband uses because he has a hard time getting to sleep, is taking a 4-7-8 breath technique, which is 4 counts, inhaling, 7 seconds holding your breath, and 8 seconds releasing. And that gets us into our parasympathetic nervous system. So it slows down your heart rate, it slows down your bodily functions, gets you out of any fight or flight mode, and gets you into that relaxed state. And so if you have more time, you've got 5 minutes, right? Or you're winding down for bed and can't get your racing mind to slow down, doing a 4-7-8 breath is a great technique to start trying out if you have more time.
I think people think of like Wim Hof, and I don't know if that's who your husband was thinking about with the breath holds, because he's a big on breath holding. And so I think people often think of breath work as being difficult, right? Having having that breath restriction, and some of it is like that. So you got your 7 seconds, but absolutely, that's a great.
That's if you've never done breath work before in any sense, 4-7-8 can be a little tough. So you can go simpler. You can go 4-4-4. You just want to make sure is like your equal, or your exhales are longer than your inhales. So yeah. And I was always, even in yoga classes, had a hard time with my longer exhales or the hold of the breath as I started doing more actual breath work routines that I do in my morning, where now I do hold my breath for a minute, where I was saying
I can't do it
a year ago, I can't do it.
Well,
and when you're in that meditative state of these breathwork things, it's actually much more doable. If I tried to do it just right at this moment, I'd probably be terrible. But when you're in this very meditative state, it's much easier and much more doable. And so anyway, so something to look into. And then exercise. Number 3, are you exercising? And especially in our 40s, if you are, and I know you are, a runner, and maybe you've never used weights before, start doing strength training, start picking up some dumbbells, okay? And if you can only manage time for 15 bicep curls, 15 rows for your back muscles, 15 squats holding some weights, great. Like, just do that. If you're so confused about weights, hire a personal trainer, get somebody to help you out, get a routine. You don't always have to hire them forever, but maybe somebody can help get a routine together for you if it's new to you. But start picking up weights. We need to get the resistance on not just our muscles, but our bones. We start losing bone density in our 30s, not our 40s. So what can you do to help your bone strength as well? And weight work is one of those things you can do.
Yeah. I've had struggle finding balance there, because I was like a runner, and that was just the thing I did was run. And then I became a bodybuilder, and that was just the thing I did was, bodybuilding, although it has a cardio component. And so now I've got all these other, and back in those days, I had time to commit to 10, 15 mile runs, or I had time to commit to, an hour and a half in the gym or whatever. And now my priorities have shifted. So I'm not doing those focused long things. And it's been a struggle now of like, okay, I have to get my strength training back in. I have to do my walks, if it's just walks or, running in my case. And then I have to get the mobility piece too. So how do I do all of those things, even having less time than I had before? And it really, when I gave myself permission to do 10 minutes of dumbbells, like, that was a game changer. And it's silly.
Yeah.
It's, it's something, it's something. It's better than nothing. And I had to tell myself, like, no, if you do 10 minutes a day, that's better than the not anything you've done, strength training in a month or whatever.
Exactly. And so exercise, and especially with weights if you can. Last, we have to talk about nutrition. And we don't have to go deep, but when we hit our 40s, especially if you're trying to manage your weight still, where's your protein, where's your fiber intake? Two main key things I try to get first with everybody, because if you're having protein and fiber, you're going to be more satiated throughout your day. And that's why people talk about it so much, because it fills you up. You're not wanting to reach for other snacks because you're not getting that hunger pain in your stomach after having a less protein or fiber, more heavy, simple carb meal. You might feel like you need a snack in 2 hours. Instead, with a good protein and fiber meal, you're going to feel satiated much longer. So that's number one, especially if, it's important overall for your health. But if you're trying to lose weight, especially in your 40s still, great thing to be paying attention to.
Do you have like a rule for protein or fiber? Like, and that's individual, like this is non-medical advice, consult your physician, all the things, like we are not medical professionals. I'm not, I don't know if you are or not, but like, but is there an overall like thing that is a good barometer of how much protein we should be having or fiber?
Correct. Well, nationally, like for fiber for women, it is 25 grams that you should get a day. And protein is a little bit more individual, but trying to get 60 grams to 100 grams to start with, especially if you have never paid attention to it, that's a good place to be. So depending on your height, your weight, your age, the numbers of the protein can change depending on your calorie goal, but fiber, no, 25 grams. That is what women need to be getting.
Okay, that's helpful. And I personally, I will say I've been, I did macro tracking for a long time. I did meal prep for a long time. Again, all of these things for this season of my life aren't working. And so I knew that the thing I had to focus on was protein. And so I'm trying for 100 grams a day, which felt so hard until I figured out how to like maximize protein at every meal. And I am doing, good or not, like I'm, drinking my Chobani yogurt that's 20 grams each, right? And so if I start with that, there's 20. I got Fairlife milk that's 30. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm trying to make sure I get at least the 20 per like eating session. And I've never felt fuller, honestly. It is really working.
And that's what I tend to tell people, especially starting the day, because breakfast is where they're missing it typically. And so can you just do like a 20-20-20 if you're a 3 meal a day and then you're at 60, you're great. You can always work up from there, but that's where I start with people. And usually they're below 60 because they're not getting any at breakfast, or very minimal. They'll be like, well, I eat eggs. Well, 2 eggs is like 12 grams of protein. It's good, but it's still not where you're going to be to hit 60, maybe, if you don't eat enough the rest of the day too. So, I try to, say, how can you get 20 or close to it in each meal? And if you need some snacks, make sure they've got some protein too. The last, just like nutrition thing, especially for our 40s, vitamin D and calcium for our bones. So you can talk to your doctor. Maybe you are due to start a vitamin D, vitamin K supplement for your bone health as a woman in your 40s. So talk to them. They'll know best for you, but this could be a time you need to do that if you're not getting any, maybe sunshine, if you're not getting dairy, because, maybe people are taking dairy out of their nutrition. And so we still need to get that vitamin D for our bone strength. And then the calcium you can get from green leafy vegetables. But a lot of times people need supplements as well. And so again, talk to your doctor and pay attention to your bone. They'll help you pay attention to what you need, maybe what you're missing.
And you need the K with the D, right, to make it work? Is that the deal?
It works better.
Works better.
Yeah, exactly. They go together. They help the bioavailability of the D go into your bones.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are the 4 things, right? Your sleep, your stress, exercise with weights, your nutrition. I know it's a lot. You don't have to start with all 4. Start with 1.
For real, start with 1, and then once you get that, and start small, and then once you get that down, habit stack it. Like, put the water with the protein, or then put the weights with the, whatever, with the water. Like, putting things together, and and then before you know it, you're doing it. And I think that's the beauty of, like, also starting small and creating some wins for yourself, right?
Exactly. Creating wins. Exactly. You need to create those and be proud of the wins, as small as they are, because that's important. You did something great. Encourage yourself, be happy for yourself that you did it, you started it, and you're continuing to do it. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I do like to make sure people know, if you don't do it one day, you didn't fail.
Yeah.
No, just start it up when you can, maybe the next day again, right? It's not a failure unless you completely stop and say, I won't do it ever again. Right. Okay? We're not doing that. We'll have off days. Be okay with it. Say, all right, that was an off day. That's okay. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, not letting it derail you is a big...
yeah.
I believe that we all do that, and just, next year, no, just tomorrow.
Yeah. Just tomorrow.
Fine, and whatever you do tomorrow, like, it's good.
Yep, exactly. And believe me, I had that issue of starting and stopping things as well in my life. And I hated that feeling. And I also would, degrade myself and be like, oh, I can't do it. I suck, like I'm not able to accomplish this. And it's like, no, who cares? You had a rough day. Like, it's okay. Like, if you
pause and feel it, and then done.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool. All right. And so I guess kind of rounding this out, if we can do one thing or whatever, we got 5 minutes, and, right now we're looking at our time, we're listening to this, we go, oh, I've got some space in my time. I know I've got 5 minutes between I need to do this thing and this thing. What are things that we can do to create balance for ourselves?
Sure. Depending on what you need and what you like, I've got 5 options that you can do in 5 minutes. Okay. So 3 exercises. If you want to work out, do 3 exercises. Do them for 30 seconds, 3 times through. Boom, 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 3 times through. You're done. 5 minutes. And you've done a nice little workout for yourself.
And you just choose your exercises.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. If you want to do those 3 I said earlier, right? Bicep curls, rows, and squats, great. If you don't have weights and you just want to do some push-ups, a plank, and some squats with nothing, right?
Body weight's great.
Body weight, yeah. So, you can choose though. Make it happy for you. If you've only got 5 minutes, do what you like. Do what you like there.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. 5-minute meditation. If you're not into meditation, and this is something I've learned as well, like there's no being good at meditation. It's just find a quiet space, sit or lay down. I like to lay down when I meditate. I just feel way more into it, and my back doesn't hurt. So lay down if you want, close your eyes, and just try to focus on your breathing or focus on a positive mantra. That's where you can give yourself positivity for 5 minutes, and then you can create your mantra. It doesn't have to be anything, if you need to find something, Google it, sure. But just like, I'm going to have a positive day, and just say that over and over to yourself for 5 minutes in this mantra as you breathe. So meditation. If you need to prepare for a day or a week, take 5 minutes, write out your to-do list. I'm big on writing out to-do lists. I have a whiteboard. I love putting what I need to do on it's on my desk. It's there so I can see all those important things I need to do, either for the day, the week, or just in general in life whenever I get to it. So write out your to-do list. Take 5 minutes and organize yourself a little bit, or put things on your calendar.
That's a big one too. Yeah.
Put your workout in your calendar for the day. If you have to go day by day, take that 5 minutes and organize your day where you're going to fit in those healthy habits. journal. Take 5 minutes and journal. And there's no right or wrong to journaling. You can write out all your stresses from the day, and nobody has to see it. It doesn't have to make sense in any way, shape, or form to anyone. Just get out your stresses, write everything out, or use it as a journal of, writing what you're grateful for. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day, along with whatever else you're writing. So last, you can do a 5-minute stretch. I like stretches for the morning, get their mobility in the morning. So you could take 5 minutes in the morning. You can even do it in your bed. Take 5 minutes and side stretch side to side, right? Maybe hug your knees to your chest, do a figure 4 stretch on your back. Like, you can do everything in bed if you wanted to, but take 5 minutes and just kind of gradually wake up your body. Or do it when you come home from work and you've been sitting all day, and like, lay on your stomach, stretch out your spine the opposite way of sitting, and just make sure that you are taking 5 minutes to give your body the relief it needs, especially if you've been sitting all day.
That's what we all do. Well, many of us.
So there's lots of healthy things you can do in 5 minutes. And so again, 3 exercises, 3 times through, 30 seconds each, 3, 3, 3. You got your 5-minute meditation, your 5-minute stretch, 5-minute journaling, writing what you're grateful for, or write down your to-do list.
All right, we got it. And I want to say in particular, if you are looking for those 5-minute stretches, I really love your Instagram for that. I think you give us some great mobility tips that feel, like I said, feel achievable and look effective, and you tell us like for what it's for, right? So if you need 5 minutes for this thing, go there. And so I feel like you're a great resource for people.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool. Well, I'm going to put your links in the comment stuff so people can find you, Mandy in Balance, on Instagram. And today TikTok exists. Tomorrow we do not know if it exists.
We do not know.
If it's there, she'll be there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put down in there the information that you gave us too, so people have a quick place to look, and so you can find that referenced down below. But I would say I really am grateful for the work that you're doing. I'm grateful that you are available for people like me who are looking for that kind of like support in, what do I do and what feels reasonable, right? And you do that for me. So I want to thank you for that. And
well, you're welcome. I truly enjoy helping people. It is why I do this as my career. I truly enjoy helping people. And any way I can do that, I feel blessed.
Yeah, same. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. And, we're going to report back. We're going to let you know how we're doing. We're going to own our 40s.
Love it. Let's do it.
If we're in our 30s, we're going to own our 30s so that we can really own our 40s.
Exactly. Right. Never too soon to start.
Yeah. Yes.
Or late.
100%. Never too soon to start. All right.
All right. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Owning Life. As always, so grateful for you for listening and for hanging out. I hope that you find that you're able to use one of those tips Mandy gave us today. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I'm looking for sponsors. So if you are looking to help me pay the bills on creating such a thing, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. But otherwise, I will catch you next time. Have a good week.